Millen's men were under pressure early on. Rovers' George Friend denied by the post, and then David James, as Donny enjoyed the better of the early exchanges. Midfielder Ryan Mason was making his debut after signing on loan from Tottenham. He picked his spot, the execution good, just not quite good enough. Doncaster did the double over City last season, but after the break, it was the visitors who broke the deadlock, marking a little suspect as Damien Stewart stole in at the far post for his team's first goal in the league this campaign. And that's the way it looked like it would stay until the last minute of the match, when James Coppinger got into a threatening position, Jamie McAllister getting his timing all wrong with the challenge. Penalty. Billy Sharp scored 16 goals on loan at Donny last season. He kept his cool to score his first as a permanent signing. 1-1 it finished. There was a warm welcome for an old friend at Vicarage Road. Coventry boss Aidy Boothroyd is well regarded round Watford Way after guiding the Hornets into the Premier League and an FA Cup semi-final. Malky Mackay's Watford have started the season with 2 away wins, scoring 6 goals, but at home Marvin Sordell was denied by Michael Quirk, who'd come on as a sub after just 18 minutes. Goalkeepers can lead a funny Jekyll and Hyde existence, though. Having impressed before, Quirk ended up in no man's land here. Will Buckley with the header. Now, John Eustace started his career at Coventry, so the way football is, he was probably worth a cheeky fiver to score against the Sky Blues. He was worth way more than that with the finish he provided. Boothroyd made 10 changes from the young team that got dumped out the Carling Cup by Morecambe during the week. The one player that remained was David Bell. What a way to start the fight back. And it was completed after a very strange refereeing decision. Lloyd Doyley appeared only to stand his ground, but Richard Keogh's fall convinced Trevor Kettle to point to the spot. Lukas Jutkiewicz did the rest, a first goal for the club and a hard-fought point for Aidy Boothroyd's Coventry.
We give ourselves a big mountain to climb. We were particularly poor for an hour. Watford were by far the better team. But thankfully we've got a little bit about us, got a bit of spirit. Didn't have a lot of good play today, with the ball or without the ball, but what we have got is we've got some spirit and we've got some fight back and we've got some good British characteristics, and we got what we deserved in the end, I think.
Crystal Palace arrived at Oakwell hoping to continue their 100% start to the season, but Barnsley have lost both their first 2 games in League and Cup. Manager Mark Robbins already pleading for patience after their slow start. That patience was rewarded when Patrick McCarthy inexplicably turned James McEvely's cross into his own net. This was Barnsley's first goal in 3 games. You have to go back to mid-March for the Tykes' last competitive win, and chances were few and far between here. Barnsley reduced to long-range efforts. Kieran Trippier on loan from Manchester City almost extended their advantage. It's been 5 months since Palace last recorded a win on the road, and they never looked like shedding that statistic. Darren Ambrose well off target here. The most worrying incident for Mark Robbins came when Goran Lovra was knocked unconscious by an Ambrose free kick. The midfielder was later taken to hospital. The incident only slightly took the edge off a first win of the campaign for Robbins and Barnsley's first in 13 league games.
It's nice to start your season with an away win, as Scunthorpe did at Reading last weekend, but it's their home form that manager Nigel Adkins has pinpointed as key to their survival. Not a huge amount to shout about in the first half, but Scunny dominated what action there was. Jonathan Fort denied by John Ruddy. And Chris Dagnall, signed from Rochdale in June, rode his luck as he bore down on goal, but couldn't quite cash in. For the Canaries, it was a familiar trio who were carving out the best chances. Wes Hoolahan, Chris Martin and Grant Holt were key in their run to the League One title last season. This move fluid enough, the finish just lacking. By now, Paul Lambert's side were creating the better chances. The ever-impressive Hoolahan dominating midfield, and but for the intervention of Robert Jones's head, may well have scored the opener. Holt was a goal machine last season, and Norwich fans might have been concerned about him struggling through pre-season because of injury, but he clearly doesn't mind flinging himself about a bit. An emphatic winner in injury time, Norwich are up and running in the Championship.
it's a hard place to come because of the environment and the way Nigel gets on playing. It's a tough place to come, but I'm delighted with the lads, delighted with the trade, and I thought I deserved to win again.
Preston were the visitors to the Liberty Stadium, where both sets of fans gave a fitting tribute to Bessien Edrazage, the Swansea forward who died tragically of a heart attack this summer, aged just 22. Both sides were hoping that convincing Carling Cup wins during the week would set them up for their first league points of the season. But it was Swansea who almost took the lead early on. David Cotterill denied by Andy Lonergan, then the post. On loan at Blackpool last season, Stephen Dobie played his part in the Seasiders' promotion, but Swansea wanted him all for themselves this year, and here's why. And it's no secret Swansea's lack of goals proved their undoing last season. They were the Championship's lowest scorers with just 40. But when Darren Pratley bundled home their second, Brendan Rodgers was well on the way to 3 points in his first home league game in charge. And Swansea put 3 goals past Barnet in the Carling Cup in midweek, and they equalled that tally just 3 minutes later. Dobie again involved, Nathan Dyer punishing a woeful North End defence. Former Chelsea winger and record signing Scott Sinclair should cause Championship defenders a few problems this season, but this time both he and Pratley were foiled by Lonergan's smart double save. But it didn't take them much longer to breach the Preston defence once again. Keith Tracy was no match for Nathan Dyer's direct running. Penalty given. And up steps Steve Cotterill to make it 4, to follow a first international goal for Wales during the week. Preston are without an away win since January, and finishing like this from Tracy tells you why. It just wasn't to be Preston's day. 4 goals in the end for Swansea, something they failed to do in the whole of last season.
Yeah, it was near on perfect in terms of, you know, how we played, you know, with good control and domination of the game, and obviously added the goals to that. So no, the players were magnificent, and I was very proud of them.
Early days in the N-Power Championship, Millwall promoted via the playoffs, top of the table after 2 outstanding wins. Joining them on 6 points, Queen's Park Rangers. Down at the bottom, Darren Ferguson will be feeling the pressure at Preston. Sheffield United on the search for a new manager. Next to League One, where Leyton Orient hosted Charlton in what would turn into a feisty London derby. Phil Parkinson's side opened the scoring inside half an hour. Alan McCormack with the header from a Simon Francis cross. Russell Slade's half-time team talk produced the desired effect. Just 5 minutes gone in the second half when Orient scored a deserved equaliser. Dean Cox's cross was missed by Gary Doherty, leaving last year's top scorer Scott McLeish to open his account for the season. And the match looked to have swung in the home side's favour when Christian Daly's poor control led to this rash tackle on Stephen Dawson. The Scottish defender shown a second yellow card. Despite plenty of Orient pressure, it was the Addicts who got the crucial next goal on the hour mark. Set up by an exquisite interchange between Lee Martin and Scott Wagstaff, the impressive Wagstaff with a classy finish to put 10 men Charlton back in front. With Orient going in search for an equaliser, they were left exposed at the back, and that allowed substitute Chris Solly to score his first ever goal for the club. 2 wins out of 2 now for Phil Parkinson's side, who already look like serious promotion contenders. That win for Charlton put them level on points with Oldham at the top of League One. The Latics maintained their 100% start in the league with a 3-0 win over Notts County. It's been a tough start for the Magpies since promotion last season, a second successive 3-0 defeat, and with no goals scored, they prop up the division. Cheltenham's flowing football is certainly catching the eye, and with Crewe having a similar attacking philosophy, this one always promised entertainment, and the fun started inside 4 minutes. Crewe's Patrick Ada, a Cameroonian whose only previous senior goal came at non-league St Albans City, with an outstanding finish. Still in search of their first win of the season, the Robins were creating plenty of chances, and midway through the first half they were deservedly level. Wesley Thomas on the mark again, just as he was last week at Gillingham. The man acquired in the off-season from Dagenham and Redbridge looks to be a shrewd signing. And just before the interval, Thomas was at it again. Cheltenham shredding Crewe's defences and exposing on-loan Chelsea keeper Reece Taylor, who was probably wishing he was back at Stamford Bridge, as Thomas took his tally for the season up to 3. Four minutes after the break, Crewe were back on level terms. A teasing free kick from Ashley Westwood, and Calvin Zola was on hand to make it 2 apiece. Just past the hour, Thomas turned provider for his strike partner Jeff Goulding, and he notched his first goal since joining from Bournemouth. Under manager Mark Yates, the Robins are shaping up to be fun to watch this season. Torquay and Shrewsbury lead the way at the top of League Two. 2 impressive away wins for both clubs maintain their 100% start in the league. At the bottom, that defeat for Crewe saw them join Lincoln as the only 2 clubs yet to record a point in League Two this season. Our goal of the week comes from John Eustace for Watford against Coventry. It was the midfielder's second league goal of the season, but it wasn't enough for Watford to maintain their 100% start to the new campaign. Next week on the show, a Midland matchup. Derby County take on Coventry. And they're off the mark. Norwich and Swansea hope to build on their wins. We'll see you then.